Welcome back to the studio. I am joined by Siavash, the winner of the Golden Punchcard. So you just told me this was your third entry to the Golden Punchcard competition.
Yes.
You've won the silver once.
Once.
And now you have the coveted Golden Punchcard.
Now I've got the gold, and I'm running for bronze next year.
Nice, nice. It's also nice to keep some spots open for the rest, right? Yeah. I like that. Community. No, but congratulations. Super cool. So a couple of months ago, you released Watson. Watson is a Looker Studio template that you can apply directly to GA4 and will automatically scan for everything that you can scan for, basically.
Almost whatever we can scan for through the API.
Yeah. I've used it. It works amazingly. It's a time saver. It's just it's an easy way to do a lot of stuff that you would otherwise do manually. So thank you for that.
Of course.
But you didn't win with Watson.
No.
You won with Sherlock.
Yeah.
So tell me, what is Sherlock?
So Sherlock is fundamentally different. It's not a Looker Studio dashboard. It's a Looker Studio connector. So instead of going through the API and trying to investigate through the API, it investigates directly the GA4 export table in BigQuery.
Yeah.
That's why it can perform more checks, more complicated checks, because it has more visibility. And because it's running in BigQuery, it has more analytics power.
Yeah.
So it's like going from API, which is aggregated, sampled, limited, incomplete, to BigQuery, which is complete with all the finest details, and from Looker Studio's functions to BigQuery's SQL and BigQuery ML. So yeah, I would say 10 a step ahead.
Exactly.
Most times.
Going from a bicycle to a Lamborghini.
Exactly.
So I'm very curious if you can help me understand a little bit how this works under the hood, because I have a Google Analytics 4 account. I have enabled the BigQuery export. I have raw data coming into into BigQuery. Now, this raw data is not that useful for me as an analyst. I would normally apply transformations. Now, the guys from GA4 Dataform are doing a great job in democratizing that and building a standard for that, so to say.
Absolutely.
And then that transformed data is normally what I would use to do analysis.
Analysis, reporting, yeah, everything.
In your case, what it seems like is I only have the raw data, and then Magic, and then Sherlock.
Yeah.
So what are you doing behind the scenes?
Behind the scenes. So in a little bit more technical terms, what it does, it's a Looker Studio connector, okay? So you start using the connector in your Looker Studio, and we ask for three things. First is the ID of your table. So we need to know where it is located, data, so we can transform it and analyze it. Second would be a license key, which helps us know who is using the tool. And the third one is a service account.
So the ID of the table means that my
project dataset table ID.
Exactly, and that means that the service account that I'm going to provide later needs to have access to that table, because that is the way you're going to connect.
Yeah. So the service account credentials that you provide to the connector, it stays in your Looker Studio instance. So we cannot see it.
Okay.
You're saving it in your Looker Studio account as part of the configuration of that connector.
Okay.
So it is safe in that sense. Whenever you try to connect through Sherlock to your dataset, Sherlock uses that service account credentials to create a one-time access token for each request. So it's not a permanent token, it's a one-time use. With that token, it goes, transforms data in your BigQuery, and on the fly provides the results back to Looker Studio, and for record keeping, it writes the results back in your cloud. So during this process, nothing, no credentials, no data, no processing, no raw data or processed data will leave either your Looker Studio instance or your Google Cloud. We don't have any visibility on that.
That's a very elegant solution. I'm impressed. I'm looking forward to play around with it.
It's like privacy by design.
Yeah, well, no, but that's great. So the risk, so to say, is people need to understand that the cost will be in their GCP account, right? So if they run this on a humongous GA4 data set,
Yeah. I mean, it's a private detective. Usually when you hire a private detective, you have to cover the cost of like transfer and food and all that. It's like, but we've been optimizing the hell out of Sherlock for the same purpose. Yeah. So we know that BigQuery processing could be expensive for larger accounts. We know that BigQuery ML, because it trains a model on your data on the fly and then use it to forecast. BigQuery ML could be much more expensive. So we design it in a way that it processes the minimum amount of data that is needed. And because it's keeping track of the previous investigations, it will process them either once or as few times as absolutely necessary.
Nice.
So for a medium-sized account, they were getting 1 million events per day.
Yep.
When we run an audit with all the bells and whistles, like the ARIMA and the logistic regression and the usual transformation, it usually costs around just $1. So it's not that expensive.
We can miss $1.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. That's really cool. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to applying this. So there's going to be, and the third thing you mentioned was a license key. That's the license key on your end, right?
On our end, yeah. So we can just make sure the person who's using the connector is authorized to use the connector.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. And is it already available right now?
Right now, we made it available to everyone at SPWK yesterday. We haven't decided how exactly are we going to release it to the public, but we will release it publicly soon, in a maximum couple of months.
Nice. Yeah. So for you, this obviously takes a lot of time to build, right? Mm-hmm. What's the end game for you? Do you think you are becoming a software as a service business for the industry? How do you see it? Do you think it's just a tool that you use and you share, or what?
Yeah. So we have the agency business, which is right now the main source of revenue for the agency. I do the education side of the business, which is primarily me running Looker Studio Masterclass, which is a side business. It's good, but it's not the primary revenue streams for the agency. We are creating these tools for several reasons. One is I'm excited about them. Two is I'm always trying to figure out something to create for Looker Studio because I can share it and I can use it in training because there's overlap. And then many of these come from the requests that we get from the clients of the agency. So usually the trigger is that they need something. We look into a solution, we provide a solution. It's like manual, it's like queries in BigQuery that we run. And then we think about everything that we've already done for the clients and which one of them can we package in a way that we can release it to the public. It won't be software as a service because I'm not coming from a development background. I don't want to go 100% software as a service in terms of like actually managing a software company. But things that are built on the kind of maintained system, something in BigQuery, something in Looker Studio, something that is scalable in that sense without extra maintenance and support that comes with SaaS. Yeah, we will go that way.
Yeah, a little bit the sweet spot in between. Yeah. Yeah, and I think we see a lot of tools, a lot of things in the Golden Punchcard have the same kind of approach, right? Like it's a little bit. It's probably also not a super viable pure software business, but it's really useful to the community and for the things that we do specifically. So that's a really interesting sweet spot, and I think, you know, especially for your agency business, it's good karma, right? Like it will come back eventually.
Exactly. That's the kind of goodwill that you cannot necessarily track or attribute later on. But what I figured out in my business is that usually most of the leads that come in and the business that comes in, it's somehow related to something that we did, I don't know, 2-3 years ago without any expectation whatsoever. We released something to the public, we did a talk, we did something for someone, and then it comes back. Unfortunately, you cannot make it scalable, you cannot control it. It was perfect if you could. But for us, it's just keep doing things that are exciting, save people time, save people money. It gives us exposure. And then we know that it comes back in some sort in sometime in the future.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So is Watson done, and is it now fully Sherlock? Or what?
No. We have an active roadmap for Watson.
Yeah.
There's still a lot that we want to release, but it won't be weekly releases for sure. Either bi-weekly, monthly, depending on what we're going to release. But in parallel, we are continuing to work on Sherlock as well, because those are two different audiences. I mean, Watson is for anyone using GA4.
Yeah.
I would say that's 1,000 times more and bigger audience than the audience for Sherlock.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
And different needs too. And Watson kind of covers like 80% of the checks that can be done.
Especially for small accounts, like if sampling is not an issue, Watson is really good.
Sampling is not an issue, cardinality is not an issue, coda is not an issue. But there is a completely different audience that have the need for more advanced checks, like the ones Sherlock does. And they have the technical availabilities to set it up and all the big queries. It's exactly like the amount of people that go to the police versus the amount of people that go to the private detective.
Nice. Yeah. So if you think about the Sherlock roadmap, what is the most challenging, interesting thing you want to create for it? Think about the Super Week audience, right?
Yeah. So interesting is primarily things that we are going to do with ML.
Yeah.
Because even right now, in the first version, the checks that Sherlock is doing, they're not available anywhere else in any free or paid solution. Yes, some people might have written some code themselves to do it, but at this scale and as a kind of a product, it is not available to the public. So stabilizing these checks.
What are the ones that are there right now?
Right now, we are checking for two different buckets of things. One are checks that Watson cannot do due to aggregation.
Yep.
So, for example, duplicate page views, things that you cannot get from the API, or the values of properties of events, things that the API doesn't give you. They might be truncated, dropped. We are then using the analysis to perform some transformation. We are estimating the number of users that have not provided consent. I mean, everyone could see events, but we are estimating users and the ratio of users. We can do it. And we are using two of the features in BigQuery ML. One is ARIMA plus time series forecasting for anomaly detection.
Okay. Yeah.
Which, I mean, in the GA4 interface, there are some anomaly detection. You don't have much control, but in Sherlock, you can specify the events that you're interested in, the time frame that you're interested in, and the threshold that you're interested in. So based on all these, it goes, trains the model on your data on the fly, and then applies it to your most recent data in the date range that you're interested in. So this is very exciting. Yep. And the other one is bot detection, because we have dynamic labeling for a logistic regression model for bot detection. Again, we train on previous 6 months of the same account, and then we apply it to most recent data to understand the bots, which is nothing that we've ever seen anywhere being done in the market. So these are the exciting ones. But the challenge is to make it as simple and as quick as Watson to use. Because right now, you should have your BigQuery table. You should know how to create a service account provided to the connector. But if we can make it like closer to just click, 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 like a wizard or something, that is the biggest challenge. Yeah. But the analysis is the biggest excitement for us.
Yeah. I think, the service account will always probably be necessary, right? Like just from a...
Yeah, but probably we can use OAuth or authorization. I'm working with the developers on that to see what other simpler solutions are available for us to allow the connector just, they click, they provide the authorization, and they're done with it. Yeah,
well, it could be interesting. I think for the audience here, it's already good enough, right? So that's great to play with. Cool. I think I've asked all the questions I wanted to ask you, so I'm just excited to start playing with it once I get back home and hopefully use it for our clients. Thank you for sharing it with the community, and thank you for joining me on Super Week TV.
My pleasure.
And, enjoy the rest of the day.
Thanks, and thank you and the whole team for the
Bye, everyone.
Bye.